we stand up? Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to chapel. I started Tuesday's chapel off with a story that happened about 4 or 5 years ago. But before I start, could I just ask perhaps that someone at the back might shut the door a little bit? We've got some people. Say again? Thank you. Yeah, that'd be great. Even just half a crack. Thank you. That's very sick. So this happened about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was responsible for boarding house, and it was in my first couple of weeks at the start of a new school year. And you're always thinking, well, we've got all these different emergencies that could happen or things that could go wrong, and just thinking, okay, what's the first thing going to be? What's the first real challenge? And remember, it was around sort of breakfast time, and there was a knock on my door, and I opened it up, and it was one of the grade 10 students, and it was just a look on his face of sort of, bemusement, confusion, and underlying it behind the eyes was a lot of panic. And he just couldn't really decide what to say. And he said, Mr. Monro, I think you're going to want to come see this. And I thought, right, okay, what on earth's going on? So I followed him out, and as I sort of left my office and headed up the stairs, I could just hear this noise. And it was, I'd never heard this noise before, couldn't place it, didn't know what it was. And it just got louder and louder and louder as I worked my way up the stairs and around towards the junior corridor, where all the grade 8s, 9s and 10s had their rooms. And as I came around the corner, it was now almost deafening. And I thought, I'm intrigued. I actually don't know what this noise is, but I'm also quite concerned. And as I came around the corner, there were 4 very active, almost like sort of busy ants trying to sort of solve issues around a bit of an anthill, half clothed because they were getting a bit in the middle of getting ready for school. So they might have had their sort of school pants on, and there was ties flailing around, flailing off them, and they just stopped in mid-action and looked at me with a look of just horror, like, oh, Monro's here. Like, what do we do? And what was happening, just in front of them, was a jet of water coming down so fast from the roof that it rebounded off the floor and it was hitting the side wall at about head height. And I just thought, wait, what on earth is happening? What's going on here? And but I could also see in the background, someone was bringing forward this, like one of those huge plastic recycling bins, the ones I mean, sort of up about sort of chest height. And that was coming in, being brought into play. And there was all sorts of other smaller recycling bins just getting, ready. And I could see what the formulation of their plan. Large bin underneath said spout of water, and then offing it on and pouring it off into the shower stalls and down the drain, which was right next door. And they just looked at me and they went, "What do we do?" And I paused and I said, "You're doing it. Like, keep going. Get the bin in under there. This is perfect. You're absolutely on top of it." And meanwhile, I had to go downstairs and try and find a stopgap. But I don't know how many gallons of water were distributed around the junior corridor on that particular morning. But what I loved was that we had a group of boys who took responsibility, saw that there was obviously a major issue happening. No one wanted a soggy floor and sort of disappearing down into the corridor below. So they'd taken that responsibility, they'd come up with a plan, assumed these different roles to solve it, and then we're just beginning to work as a team. And they were so effective over the next 10 or 15 minutes in siphoning off that water, which was coming down from a sprinkler head that had been knocked off. And I'm one of the middle of 3 brothers, and sometimes when you're a brother, you feel an inexplicable desire to almost murder your other brother. And who knows exactly what the source of that is, but it's happened to me a few times, and this sort of uncontrollable rage overcomes you. And I think that's what had happened between a couple of brothers, and a shoe may or may not have been launched in the direction of a brother, and it just clipped the head off the sprinkler in the corridor, and there was just tens of gallons of water pumping out their samples. So anyway, it was a bit of an anxiety-inducing moment, but again, just to reiterate, taking responsibility, assuming roles, and then working together as a team. Hopefully there'll be less of sprinkler head anecdotes this year, but those are the exact pieces that our school prefects are going to look to take on this year. That idea of responsibility, having roles within a team, and then working together as a team. It is a multifunctional role, and in a minute we're going to hear from the school prefects. They're going to tell you a little bit more about themselves, perhaps some areas of the school that they have a particular passion for or are really looking to get involved in. But the role has this sort of ambassadorial element to it where they're promoters and representatives of the school's values, role models that show the way. They're communicators of the student voice, and that's really important for everyone here in the chapel to consider today is what am I interested in trying to improve or trying to develop here at the school? What are my beliefs about the ways we should do things? So when the prefects are up here and there and you're getting a sense of who they are and perhaps the areas of responsibility, if you find a connection there or you think, oh, I really need to get involved in that, please go and have a conversation with them. Okay, they're really open to communication, to feedback, and that's part of their role is representing the student voice as well. Setters of high standards. Okay, so obviously just the sartorial elegance from the school prefect group will be absolutely exquisite. Ties all in the right places and things like that, and they'll just never put a foot wrong when it comes to that. But in all seriousness, that's an important thing, sort of helping set the tone around the school. This next one, I believe, is something that's difficult to do, but we're really going to try and do that this year. Is have the prefects as the drivers in the evolution of the school culture. I think in my experience from various observations that I've made, and I've been guilty of it too, is not giving young people enough credit for their intelligence and for their abilities to do things and to do things well and to be resourceful and to have excellent ideas. I think that one of the pieces that I have over many of you in this chapel is life experience, just because I've been alive longer. But there's nothing any of us can do about that. I think there's a lot of intelligence in this, so much intelligence in this room. How can we leverage that? How can we use that to create a better environment, create better conditions for us as a school? So I'm really excited to see how we can build towards that this year. And with that, comes the sort of development of maybe some better systems, again, linking into the way we do things. I'm going to move out of the way in a moment, and you can hear from the school prefects yourselves. Just a final piece before they come up is listen carefully to perhaps some of those areas of responsibility, and maybe go and seek more clarity around what those are afterwards. But we have some prefects who are going to be responsible for design, okay? And design is going to be connected to what do our spaces look like? How are our spaces on campus used? How can we improve our spaces on campus so that, I don't know, they're better spaces for socialization? Or I know there's a great survey that came out, Song Yi sent it, probably from the entrepreneurship 11 class, I think it was, around this idea of a cafe. So really interested to see what the results are of that survey, but do we need to try and design a space that would be a great location for a student cafe or something like that? That's it from me for now. I'm going to pass over to the school prefects. I'm really excited about what this group can do this year. So, thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Sydney, and I'm a day student from Nanaimo. I'm one of the prefects this year, and I'm a service prefect. I'm also the head prefect. I'm going to be working alongside Katia, Yo-Yo, and Tegan, and Ms. Craig to help build the spirit of QMS and the spirit of service with QMS. Some of my personal interests are fitness, traveling, boating, and reading, and I'm super approachable, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, feel free to talk to me and have a conversation. Thank you.
besides Shanghai, located in southeast of China. I mean, I'm not good at geography, but luckily I know where I came from. I'm a prefect of community, culture, and intercultural. I've always wanted to bring people together. Doesn't matter the gender, the background, the grade you are in, the language you speak. At the end of the day, we're all QMSers. No one should be and will be left out. Speaking of my interest, I love reading people's mind. Just to be careful when you're talking to me, okay? I love poetry and art. I mean, I do find cycling cool, but the problem is I can't ride a bike. Well, at least I think I'm still a good person so far. So if you guys have any questions or just want to have a chat, I'm here.
Hi everyone, I'm Cecilia Xia, and I come from Nanjing, China, which used to be the capital city of China, but not anymore. My role in Prefect this year is design, community, and culture. I hope the school can be divided into different sections, so people who are sporty can have a place to entertain, and people who love to read or chat can also have a quiet spot. Personally, I like reading, watching movies, and playing werewolves. What a shame, Catherine. You can't even ride a bike. But if you guys want to teach Catherine how to ride a bike, please teach me first.
Hi everyone, I'm Liu Liu. I'm from Beijing, China, which is the capital city of China. And I'm your Service and Student Council Prefect this year. I will try my best to help you accomplish your 20 service hours and contribute to our community. I love science and craft, so if you are anyone like that, we can work really well together. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Evan Ludvigson. I'm the Deputy Prefect for the school year. I'm a day student from Crofton, BC. My greatest goal for this year is to give students like you guys more opportunities to be leaders throughout the school year. This year, I'm going to be working on defining and refining what it means for the culture and community of QMS, as well as working with the Student Council. Some of my personal interests include sailing, boating, fishing, soccer, and anything to do with sports in the ocean. Come talk to me whenever.
Hey everybody, I'm Katia. I'm a day student from Thetis Island, and I am one of your student council and service prefects this year. One of the things that I am really looking forward to this year, as much as COVID-19 is going to allow us, is further integrating our QMS community with our greater Cowichan Valley one to create really exciting learning and service opportunities for all of you. And not so coincidentally, one of my greatest passions is service and volunteering, and you're probably going to see me a lot this year sprinting down Brownsea late to one of my volunteer placements at lunch or after school. And I'm just really looking forward to getting to know all of you better and working with you this year.
Hello everyone, my name is Tegan Kropp, and I'm a day student from Duncan, but I'm originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I've lived in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, and Quesnel, BC. So basically, really cold climates. I'm a prefect of service and design this year, and one of my goals is to bring more QMS pride into our hallways and maybe update the student art to make our hallways feel even more close-knit and connected than they already do. Some of my interests are acting, writing, and reading, and I hope one day to become an actress and an author, and I really, really like to talk, so please come talk to me about those things, and I would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you.
In my excitement to tell you about the sprinkler explosion event. We didn't sing the first hymn, so I think we should do a bit of singing, because I know that that's a deep love of everyone's in the chapel. But it's something that we do need to practice, because really, I think the head of school said it in the first week of chapel, that when you are able to sing together with some volume, and it really does, I find it's a really lifting experience, and I hope you'll find that in time too. Tricky singing with a mask on, I understand as well, it's not always easy, but we're going to sing a hymn called Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah, and so the lyrics will come up on the screen in a moment. Miss Hounsome is going to play the melody to the verse, and then we'll start the first verse after that. Okay, it's not always about hitting every single note. All right, I know there might be some trepidation out there. Well, I'm not a fantastic singer. I don't sing with a bit of gusto. Okay, and then over time, that other side will come. All right, so please sing up, sing it as loud as you can, and let's see if we can challenge some of the nails that are holding the roof down onto the chapel, and just see if we can lift the roof up an inch or two. Okay, thank you. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah.
As I do my limbo under the screen, sit down please. Know the words weren't on the back of the screen as well as on the front of the screen, just in case you wondered how we weren't reading the words off the screen. We happen to know them off by heart. That was good, thank you. We'll get better and we'll achieve what Mr. Monroe's after. Conscious of the time, I just want to add a couple of little comments, one of which is really pertinent to what's happening later on today. There's a Terry Fox run, as you know, and when I came to Canada in 1986, I came to live and work, but I also came to be a Canadian because I so admired this country and its approach to ethnicity, cultures, and just embracing everyone, and I've never lost that love and admiration. As you know, I don't really sound like your average Canadian, if there is a way to sound. I couldn't get the accent thing going. It was too late in my life. But the country I love, and I think just that little snapshot of where our school prefects are from and what they think and feel and everything else just reinforces what Canada is. So in '86, I discovered a Canadian hero, and I embraced him and what he stood for right away. As you know, Terry Fox ran his Marathon of Hope in 1981, I think it was. I had, funnily enough, just run a marathon that summer before I came, and I ran it hard, so I knew what the pain of running 26 miles or 42 kilometers was. I knew that pain. I couldn't walk for a week after it. But this is someone who to try and achieve something, ran the equivalent of a marathon a day for 144 days, in getting up at the crack of dawn when it was still dark and it was wet and in some parts it was snowing, and 144 days in a row running a marathon on one leg. I still get chills when I think of that. I honestly do. I think it's an amazing representation of courage and commitment. And his goal was to raise $1 from every Canadian. 24 million was the population of the country at that time. $24 million he wanted to raise. Well, now the Terry Fox Foundation has raised over $500 million, and millions of people all over the world run the Terry Fox in his memory. So he is a true Canadian hero, and I hope that we're all going to honour him today. As you walk, run, do whatever you're doing, it doesn't really matter, but just think about the significance of what it is. There isn't anyone in the chapel whose life hasn't been touched, unfortunately, by cancer, either in a family or friends, or in some cases personally. So this is a really valid cause. So I urge you all to as you do the Terry Fox, think of someone that you're doing it for, and think of what Terry did. Right? There's a quote I like reading. It's by Peter Mansbridge, long-time CBC anchor, and it just sums up absolutely how I personally feel about Terry Fox, and I hope how you feel about him. Once or twice in a lifetime, someone special comes along who touches our hearts, deepens our faith in humanity, and changes forever the way we look at the world. Someone who exhibits courage, selflessness, and tenacity. Someone who fights for a dream and works to make it come true. Terry Fox was that kind of person. He touched a common chord that spoke to us of goodness and possibilities, of defiance in the face of an enemy, of human decency, and most of all, of generosity. Do we have time to sing, or are we going to stop there, Mr.? I think we should probably stop there. Yeah? We can catch up on the sing later. Thanks everybody, have a good day.